Good evening and welcome. Chris Upton in the house. Well, I'm sorry I was late. The music didn't work. Just didn't work. I tried to put some music on for you. It did not work. I wonder if I got done for copyright again. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see me? See me? Nice to see you put your clothes back on. Stop it, Steve. Honestly. Come on. Let's get on with it. Come on. Let's get on with it. Come on. Let's get on with it, everyone. Honestly. You lot. I tell you one thing, everyone. What you've got to imagine is this, right? Look at the top of the list and see who was first in the house. See who was first in the house. It was the ladies. It was the ladies in the house. So there you go. So, Angela Mead, congratulations. You nearly got what you needed. Karen Evans, I know. A bit freaking late, isn't it? Hang on. Imagine them nipple tassels. No laughing. Anyway, that's that. I don't know why it came on then. I have to put it on later. See, I know you was now. See, it's not past the watershed yet. Stop it. Yes, Robert Jeffrey, you're dead right. I could have been in serious trouble. We got to wait till 9 before the show really gets underway. When it really warms up. Okay, so let's get serious. I have a couple of questions. There's some intelligent people in here, isn't there? Let's see who's got in here. We've got some intelligent people in here. Angela Mead, good evening. Karen Evans, good evening. Sandy, good evening. Christopher, good evening. Chris Pace, good evening. Simon Spruce, good evening. Sean Raymond, good evening. Jesus Christ, son, I'm beginning to start sweating. Weekend, isn't it? Matt Crew, good evening. Richard Gore, good evening. Denver Skinner, good evening. Simon Spruce. Michael Lachlan. Michael, hello, Michael. John Griffiths. Oliver's Twist again. Oliver Twist. Remember Oliver Twist? Hello, Oliver. Steve Pace. Oh, we've done that. David Jones, good evening to you. Jay Brooker, good evening. And Christmas Sue. What have they done with my Spaniel? Because the one you've got is new dog, surely. He's looking fantastic. Chris, you must be relieved. Relieved. Was your dog, not mine. I just had to trust on my instincts. Most definitely Steve Pace, Christopher, Simon Spruce, Jason Byrne, Robert Jeffrey, Darren Owen, good evening. Cool, blimey, coming in this evening. How many have we got in the house already? 60 in the house, obviously, because I was sitting there naked. How many women have we got in the house? Oh, only 5. Bloody hell, some strange people. Anyway, I have a question. You know what this is, don't you? You know what this is? You know we love giving away freebies on here, don't we, to keep you on board? But that's the only reason there's money in here. Oh no, there's not. There's not even a cup of tea. Anyway, I have a question. Could somebody explain to me what a sovereign being is? A sovereign being. Could you explain to me? Anyone can Google it. Tell me what a sovereign being is. Someone said, and I'm not going to mention who they are at the moment because that could be part of the competition. The Queen is a sovereign being. Okay. If a dog is a sovereign being, what do they mean when they say the dog is a sovereign being? I heard someone say that, but couldn't tell you. A royal family member? Nah. Well, a royal family member could be a sovereign being because they're part of the sovereign. But what is a sovereign being? If it's a dog, own person. I think that's the closest we got to it, Earthbound Pheasant. Well done. That's the closest we got to it up to now. True to its breed, a sovereign being. So I wonder if we got anybody intellectual on here or wants to go on Google. Head of the country, royalty. Yeah, but not in the royal sense, Michael. A sovereign being. A dog is a sovereign being. Rafa, yeah. It does what he wants to do. Dougie, a sovereign being. So do you believe that a dog should make the choices and we shouldn't ever use discipline or correction? Yeah. Oh, I'm back again. Your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try to connect you. So I was sort of breakdancing in midair then for a second. Someone's ability Denver, we're getting there. Someone's ability to make their own destiny. So do you believe that a dog is a sovereign being, that it actually it creates its own destiny? Do you have got internet problems here? So I will carry on. I just hope it says your connection is unstable. Please wait. We'll try to reconnect you. 69 people in the house. I understand it. It's sovereign dog, a dog. It's a sovereign dog, a dog. Right, okay.
There's a sovereign dog, a dog that's in charge.
Is it? All right.
Question mark.
The owner makes the dog's destiny. So do you believe that the dog chooses its own destiny and we just got to go along with that? And we should persuade the dog. We shouldn't force the dog into control, into doing what we want it to do. So if you want it to make it sit, you make it sit. That's not acceptable in some people's eyes. Yeah, we're freezing here, so I don't know what's happening, everyone. I don't know why we haven't got a good connection. But I will carry on. I will do my best. I will move forward. No. So let me explain. Where am I going tonight with this? I listened to a podcast and it was to do with Mark Goldberg, the Monks of Newsgate, and Chad Mackin. And Chad Mackin says that he thinks dogs are sovereign beings, right? And we should not be coercing them to do things. You can trick them into doing things with food. Nothing wrong with that, he thinks. But the more I listen to these dog trainers in America, the more confused I get. Do I stop listening and just decide the destiny of the dog? It'd be wonderful if the dog had the capacity to go, I'm never going to push you. I'm never going to get on your bad side. I'm never going to push the boundaries. I'm never going to do anything what you class as wrong because you're my master. Hold on, you can't use that word master, can you, these days? That is offensive these days, the word master, because that implies that you're the dog's the servant or the person's the servant in today's society, in the snowflake society. And are balance trainers going down the exact same road in America because they know that's the way to pull business in? Or is it a true fact that they don't use discipline, they don't use correction, right? Because the dog makes its own choices and it only wants to please. I'm sorry, I live in the real world. If a dog is living with us, then we need to show leadership, rules and boundaries. Steve Pace. I agree 100%, Steve. But the more I listen to these podcasts and these conversations between these so righteous people, the Monks of Newsgate, let's just listen. 1991, roughly 1991. The Art of Raising a Puppy. Brother Christopher wasn't around then, or was he around? Is that Brother Christopher? At the end of the day, Brother Christopher's now in charge, and it's very easy, isn't it, to sell divine inspiration? It's so easy to sell divine inspiration and put nice wording with your way of training instead of using the word punishment, discipline, correction. As soon as you start using that, you're taking away the dog's sovereign being, because you're dominating, you're showing leadership. Now, who came up with the word pack leader? Well, Mark Goldberg says it was the monks of Newsgate who invented the word pack leader. I don't know if I think that's right, that they invented the word pack leader. I think their early books, and I've read their early books. I haven't read their latest book, but I've been listening about it on a podcast. Their early books were classed as more of the Keeler method, discipline, correction. Now they don't use discipline correction. They want the dog to want to do it. Well, hang on, everyone. Isn't that what Chris does so much in his training? Me, I'm on about Chris, me. I do that so much in my training that I use 95% positive, fun-based training. And that's what no one wants to talk about in the dog training world, because what they say is, he talks about discipline. He talks about correction. We don't use correction anymore. In modern day training, we don't use correction. What a load of shite. What a load of shite. That's why I nearly went naked. Because at the end of the day, if you're using prong collars and e-collars, yes, you can use them in a nice, soft approach, get results from them. They're a wonderful tool, but you can't say that it's not force when force is needed. Or do you just sort of turn a blind eye when the dog goes wrong and say, that doesn't matter? Because you've got to make the dog want to sit rather than force it to sit. Okay, so we teach the behavior. We teach the behavior the dog can sit through fun base, like I show you. And then if the dog wants to push boundaries, choice, as long as they know every action has consequence. No, you can't use consequences. You've got to understand the dog's capacity is only going to want to please. Dogs have this eternal love for you. And if you tap into the right mental state of this, it's like yin and yang. Come on, yin and yang. You don't need discipline. Hang on. I've seen nuns giving discipline. I mean, what happens in the church? Is there a leadership? Is there a hierarchy? Do you kneel down to God? At the end of the day, if you want to, if I want to say, right, I'm running a charity, I'm running a missionary here just for the dogs. We're only doing it for the dogs. We're not doing it for ourselves. We're not doing it for money. We're not doing it for money. We're giving it away for free. We're giving it away for free because we believe in helping dogs. Then if you want to give a donation, feel free to give a donation. I could understand that if that's what they were doing, but no, they're selling their books, they're selling their ideologies, and I've got nothing against them if they're saying it the way it is. But if you're now going down the road of let's go soft, and when we say soft, let's speak softly. Let's give the words that make people think that we love dogs. Are you saying I don't love dogs? Are you saying that I have not got the best out of Dougie because of not rushing him? I listened to this podcast, and in 1990 they were charging $350 a month for taking your dog in for training. $350 a month in 1990. Imagine what they're charging now. If you ask them for their prices, or you've got to put an application form in to try and get a dog trained by them, and they're in New York. And I've read their books, and I like their books, and I think their books were more honest in 1990. But society has said, we can't talk like that anymore. We've got to be PC. And so they've gone down the road of saying, and let me play it for you nice and loud. This is the important bit. It starts at 1 minute, 10 seconds.
Commercial interruption. The book is called The Art of Training Your Dog, and its subtitle is How to Gently Teach Good Behavior Using an E-Collar, because this is the gentlest way we have found to train a dog, and Brother Christopher and I pioneered a methodology that we want to share with you. You can get a lot more information about that on our website.
Did you hear what it said? A really important thing. We've pioneered a way to train a dog using the e-collar, and it's a kinder way than what they were using or what other people use. What are you saying? Because I know what they were using was exactly what I was using. We were a lot firmer years ago before we educated ourselves, and now we've educated ourselves. It's still about putting out the truth and not bullshit. And I'm not having a go at the monks of Newsgate or Mark Goldberg. What I'm saying is it's debate. This is debate. I've been saying openly in public, putting my head above the parapet, that the e-collar is a kinder tool to train with since been using it for 2.5 years. Now they've come up with it on here. It's a kind of tool to train with. I agree with them. I agree with them. Did dogs listen any better years ago? No, they didn't. Dogs had discipline years ago, and Dougie has had discipline. All the dogs in the kennel have had discipline. They're saying on this podcast that you can see their dogs are happy and they don't have any adverse effect on the dogs because they're not flattened. Of course, they're not flattened. You couldn't tell me if I just put up videos of my dogs in the field running around. You couldn't tell me whether they have an e-collar, prong collar, whether they've been grabbed hold of by the scruff, whether they've been shouted at, whether they've been disciplined. You couldn't tell me because guess what? My dogs are not flat. No one can take that away from me because you people, even the haters out there go, I don't know why his dogs are so happy around him. The dogs are happy because they got leadership. And leadership is part and parcel of the game. But today's society now says, oh, you can't say mastering the dog or a pack leader. And yet they're talking about mastering the dog and pack leader. Well, if you master a dog, then you're giving leadership. A leader gives leadership. Sovereign being is someone who has supreme power and authority. So why would you give that title to your dog? Exactly. Exactly. And that's what Chad Mackin said. Dogs are supreme beings. In other words, what? We all bow down to them like a cow. We worship the cow. I'm sorry. I love my dogs, but they need leadership. Else they'll shit on the carpet. They'll come in the house and lay on the settee. Rafa would love it. Rafa would love it. And Sue might love it, but Chris Upton wouldn't love it. We had a customer here the other week, I won't say which customer, decided to take the dog in the caravan and sleep it on the duvet. At the end of the day, not something I really wanted, to be honest with you. I was polite as hell, but not something I really wanted. Why? Because we get some people in there who keep the dogs in the car, and I don't want the caravan stinking. But at the end of the day, I've not named them. Why? Because I don't want to drop people in it. But if you want to sleep with your dog on my duvet in my caravan, I would appreciate if you don't. But at the end of the day, some people say, oh, my dog misses me. Can I bring it in the caravan? Yes, bring it in a cage, in the caravan, put it in the cage. Does that mean I'm a zookeeper? No, it doesn't. But guess what? I don't want to walk into a caravan and sleep in a caravan. Now, Sue's had to wash the duvet, wash the blanket, and she said, no, it doesn't. It didn't smell.
I might change it for Sean.
She might change it for Sean, she says. No, Sean, she's going to leave it there and see if you can tell. Like, oh, shit, that bed smells of dog. Right? No, at the end of the day, I wouldn't actually say who it was or why they did it. It's because they love the dog. Sean's laughing. Discipline doesn't mean cruelty. Exactly. And, you know, that's why the dog training world is just such a freaking mess, everyone. It's so easy to say, hang on, we got a selling target here because we can say we're the monks of Newskeep. Well, hang on. Why don't the fluffies attack the monks of Newskeep for using the tools that they say are barbaric? And yet the monks of Newskeep could be an advertisement for us all because they're saying it's a kind of way from the way we used to do it. Now, guess what? From that method, and that method works, it's definitely a kind of way using an e-collar. But who wants to talk about it? Because you get your head put above the parapet and you'll get your head shot at. As simple as that. But guess what? Fat Boy can live with it. Fat Boy can live with it because Fat Boy says it the way he sees it. That doesn't mean he's right. That means the way he sees the way of training. But do I lay in my bed some days and think, can I train a dog? Or is it the fact that you have to use discipline to get the best out of these dogs, and you do get the best out of these dogs? But if you could train dogs without discipline, wouldn't you be a better dog trainer? Or do I not let that get into my head? Because the more you watch and the more you study, the more you watch these people, it's like a little clan of cliquey, not film stars. Yeah, well, they are film stars, but high up followed dog trainers. You punch in the monks of Newskeet. You punch in the monks of Newskeet and you have a look at the videos on YouTube of the videos. It's like 1970s, 1980s. We've moved on. Let's see the modern stuff. Let's start talking about how to use an e-collar and showing people. No, we can't do that because it's divine goodness and all this and all this and all this. But it's divine too if the monks use it. There you go. But monks are supposed to be decent Christian, like, or whatever religion they follow, people, aren't they? and they put themselves away and they practice good things and they don't drink wine, or do they?
Yes, they do.
And they don't have sex, or do they? We don't know, do we? I'm not jumping to conclusions. They don't like children. Not the monks in Newskeet. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, I think you and Sue should have a Dougie in with you guys for the last night. He'd love that. Do you know what? I'm actually thinking of doing that, Jay. I'm thinking of bringing Dougie into my bed. I would just love black hairs all over the bed. It reminded me of the 70s when we had black, when I had dark, proper hair, pubes, instead of a grey bush, a triangle of love. Anyway, Buckfast, yeah, monks are Buckfast habit. They love making mead, don't they, and get everyone pissed in Scotland.
I think you should stop listening to these people, and Frank Sinatra got it right. You should do it your way.
Did you hear that, everybody? Then she reckons I should stop listening and trying to learn and improve my skills by just blanking it, doing it my way, as Frank Sinatra says. Do it your way. I disagree. I think that by watching, reading, evaluating, trying things, then we can all become better and more knowledgeable. So 1950, there was a book out called Man Meets Dog. Man Meets Dog. Now I'm going to give a cup to the first person who tells me his second name, and his first name is Conrad. Anybody want a cup? There you go. Let's see who's really got any knowledge here. Anybody want a cup? Conrad, 1950s, wrote a book. I'll even help you out. He was German, but I need it in the next 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because you're all going on Google, you bastards. Susan, count it down. Count it down. Conrad, come on. Yes! Dan Lawrence is a winner. Dan, you've just won yourself a cup. You've just won yourself a cup. Well done. Go on then, Dan. What can you tell me about him? Come on. What can you tell me about him? Because his books were harsh. His books was harsh. He was supposed to be educational, intellectual, a man who used science and studied science, and yet he used harsh methods. But hang on. How far are we going back? That was 1950s. He was born in 70 years. And when I started training dogs and people were showing me how to train dogs, there was none of this gameplay. It was about obedience training. And it flattened them. And I had to beat them people. So I had to learn a method of training dogs. Conrad Murray. Karen, back to school. So Dan Lawrence, what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to message me in Messenger or something like that and give us your address and we'll send a cup off to you. Congratulations. Isn't it easy to win something on here? Look at that, look. And the reason I said that is I want to know if any of you are listening. I want to know if any of you are really interested in the deeper side of dog training, or whether you just want to piss up on a Wednesday night. And what have I done? What have I done in the past? What have I done on my Patreon? What have I done on YouTube? I have promoted the monks of Newskeet. I have promoted them. I like their book. I like the 90s book. I like their straight, honest talking. I like the fact that dogs need leadership. And now it seems that you've got to you've got to get into the dog's head that he wants to please. Well, don't we do that? Don't we do that with Dougie? Don't we do that with my dogs? Don't we do it with every customer's dog? But yes, I use discipline as well. So what are they saying? Are they saying I'm the evil trainer because I'm old-fashioned? I still use discipline. Still use correction. I still use correction in front of people. Or should I be doing it with Smarties and fairy farts? Smarties and fairy farts. You come round, I'll give you you're the man, Dan Lawrence. I don't know if I'm the man. I'm just saying it the way it is. Denver Skillers, Chris, did you get my picture of the pup I sent you? When did you send it? Where did you send it, Denver? Help me. Come on, help me, Denver. Where did you send it, Denver? Did you send it on? Oh, hang on, Denver. Did you send me a picture? Hang on, Denver. Could not download the image. Try again. If the problem keeps happening, try turning off the Wi-Fi, turn it on and connecting. I did that 12 times, Denver. Is that the one, Denver? Not the monkey at the top. Did you send me that, Denver? Is that one of the pictures? Will not open. What's up? Thought so. For some reason, Denver, it's not opening. You sent me 2. Hang on. There you go, Denver. That one. Got that one now. That one's opened. There you go, everyone. Denver's pup, 10 weeks old. Focus. Look at that. Look at that, everyone. Denver's pup. No, only one. Oh, the other one must have been something dirty then. Somebody else sent me. Because it didn't say it came from Denver, that's all. You have to put your name in it. Oh, no, only one. Yeah, got that picture. Lovely Denver. Very pretty pup. Very nice.
No.
So there you go. So what I was talking about is I've read Conrad's book as well, and it's very much on the Keeler line. It's very much on the Keeler line. And is it because everyone was in there? Lots of gun dog trainers and A panel judges use discipline, as I've witnessed, but don't want to make it public and knowledge. Thank you so much, David Jones, for being honest and upfront with that, because that's the whole point about this. We would be in a far better situation in the dog training world if we talked openly and didn't talk with forked tongue. Get that bit? Yeah, I threw that bit in, forked tongue. Hello, Chris. What would you recommend to do when you don't have access to a rabbit pen? Ross Taylor. How old's the dog, Ross? What sort of dog is it, Ross? Do you want the rabbit pen for steadiness, or do you want the rabbit pen to create drive? What do you want it for, Ross? This is the thing. This is why sometimes these questions are great, but sometimes you need a little bit more information. If you've got a young dog, what's this? Gamer coming to. Hey, how are you? You're in the wrong show. I think he's in the wrong show. That one. Yeah, David Jones, forking lying tongues. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the whole point. I put a video up the other day where Gilly Nichols and that vet, Vicky Payne, slagged it off and said, berating a dog in front of other dogs is absolutely disgraceful. And this is the problem, isn't it? If I've got a dog sitting here and another dog is over there, and Jonathan, showed you with this with Jonathan, and this dog sitting next to me gets jealous and wants to rip the ball or the dummy out of the other dog's mouth. Hang on. It's a sovereign being. I just let it happen, don't I? It just makes its own destiny, doesn't it? Or does that cause a problem if I allow that to manifest? Do I have to stop that behavior? Or do I just go, oh, treat, here's a treat, have a treat? No, that's rewarding the behavior. If after the event, right, the dog had to be pulled back and told that's unacceptable. Guess what? The dog learned from it. The dog didn't hold baggage. The dog didn't go, oh, I'm never going to trust you again. Well done, Karen. Ross Taylor, she's 16 months old cocker, plenty of drive, so would be for steadiness. Well, you've got an ideal situation at the moment, Ross. You don't need a rabbit pen because you can dog in and you can train the dog dogging in on birds and blowing the stop whistle. Or this time of the season is a great time to put the steadiness in the dog before we start. Tomorrow the shooting season starts. And guess what they've done? They've given rain, haven't they? They've given nothing but bloody rain. Read a gun dog trainer's trial job website yesterday, and it was very clever wording regarding discipline. Obviously scared to mention it. There you go. Scared to mention it. And that's disgraceful because we're being bullied by the Kennel Club that we should be using positive methods and positive only. And they are they have got judges abiding by the KC rules. Technically, if anyone has been seeing or talking about discipline, they can be brought up for bringing the game into disrepute. So guess what? Thank God you're dressed. So you're a bit late, mate. You're waiting for the 9 o'clock watershed, aren't you? Where I can get the nipple tassels out. He knows that song. Anyway, good evening, Soul. Soul's in the house. So what I'm saying is, I've read so much stuff that it confuses me. So what chance has the average layperson got when there is so many conflicting opinions about how we should train and how we shouldn't train? 76 people in the house, 19 thumbs up. See what I'm saying? Anyway, Susan, any questions?
No, I don't
Thought the same,
think so.
Soul. My missus might have left me. Why is that, John?
And she's seen your
Stop it, John. Honestly. I mean, some women like a bit of meat and some don't. Obviously, yours doesn't. You bugger, Chris. Hey, I can hurt as well, you know. I can hurt. She's seen your racing snake. When she's seen your racing snake body. Hey, stop it. Honestly, you lot. So, what would anyone like to talk about? Would anyone like to talk about why am I letting Dougie still chase? Do you like the pace he's coming up? Do you like how I'm letting him run across the fields with the mule? I tell you what, do you know what? No wonder these people in America have to have freaking horses to keep up with pointers and freaking leggy things like him. Honestly, actually, he's really good fun. He's really good fun. Why? Because he actually stays with you so close to the birds, and then you can push him onto him to build up the excitement. Now, you could say, yeah, but letting him race across the field like you did, Chris, you're going to just build it up and up and up so you can't control it. Well, that's where I know how to control the desire and drive and put the steadiness into the dog. And you could say, oh, yeah, that could be your famous last words, Chris, once you drive that dog up another 2 gears. But guess what? I want him to go up even more. Dan Lawrence, my 16-month-old cocker isn't bothered about retrieving. Well, there you go then. I hope you're not. I would just like to use him for beatings. So why worry? He's a keen hunter, and I'm not trying to work on steadiness. There you go, Dan. Then if you're happy, I'm happy for you, Dan. But you won't be able to put any handling into the dog. You won't be able to put any stop into a dog under temptation. Why? Because we use the dummy as the bait, as the reward, as the fun element. And that's how we put the control into the dog. So if you just want a dog to beat and be around your feet, keep him around your feet, Dan. Nothing wrong with that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Paul Jarvis, I like the way he uses his nose and then pointed. Yes, so it's the first one I've ever trained like him. And I wanted to see his natural ability come out. And we waited and waited and it didn't come out. John Wilson, why have you show it? Why have you hit it? I think you'll have one for yourself next, Chris. Yeah, Sue said, wouldn't it be fun to have one of them? Because you'd lose weight, darling, if you didn't have a mule. You're freaking right, I would. Chris J is getting a pack of cockers, I heard. It's like everything, isn't it? I try and show you how the springer and how the cocker should work close and produce in front of you for the gun. It was great to see Soul and his dog and see the drive and desire and the majesticness with that dog. But he allowed that dog to build that drive and that desire. That's why that dog is as good as he is now. That's why he then learned there's no point in carrying on chasing because he's not getting an end result. So now he goes to point. It's letting the natural ability of the dog bring out of itself. And what I wanted to do with Dougie is I had no idea what level we could get him to, and I still don't. But at the end of the day, I wanted to watch his natural ability. And in the fields that we've got where we're dogging in, they've got high wire sheep netting. But the pheasants can get in there if they really push themselves, but the dogs can't easy. So what it does, it makes the dogs driven to get to the area point, and the birds will take off. So it gives the dogs that chance not to chase perhaps so much if the bird takes off and goes over the edge. But you can still get the control and stopping the dog chasing after the flush because we can introduce the shot to the retrieve. The shot means retrieve, not the flush. The flush doesn't mean retrieve. The flush means the fun of it. So we're taking it back in elements and we're building it up in stages. And that's why I'm trying to show you what I'm trying to do with him. Yes, I'm trying to get him fit as well. The running is just to get him fit. We've done the fields. But then once we come around the corner, we went round the fields again to give him a run, and then there was 5 or 6 birds in the field, and I just led him across and let him open up and let him have the fun of opening up and loving the chase.
He doesn't need so many lie downs now, does
No, he doesn't seem to lie down quite as much now, but he does point at the car on a regular basis when he gets in, or the mule. He just stands there when he comes in the field out the back and goes, not kennel, car, not kennel, car. Now, you can't say that dog's not happy. You can't say that dog's not come out of himself and he's a very happy dog. And yet I've given him discipline. I've given him correction. I turned the e-collar up when he chased the deer and I told him to come here. I gave him the verbal cue. I punished him. Some people say you shouldn't have given the cue. You should just fried him. No, I'm teaching him. Come here means come here. If I tap you when you don't come here, I'll turn it up. I have no hesitation to turn it up. But at the end of the day, going back to the monks of Newskeet, using the e-collar, if you can do everything with love and affection and the dog can make that decision, why do you need an e-collar? Why do you need a prong collar? Some trainers use prong collars. I'm not against prong collars. I don't use prong collars. I don't know enough about them. But guess what? If you're having to rag a dog because it's pulling on the lead to get it back in, then surely a prong collar with a slight correction on a prong collar that the dog goes, oh, I'll avoid that, would be a better tool. You could say it's a kinder tool than ragging a dog for pulling on the lead. But I can show you how to teach a dog not to pull on the lead with what we call pressure and release. But it takes longer. And that's exactly what's happened with Jay's dog. It's taken longer for me to train it the way I have, rather than giving it a regimental term of discipline, correction, and then hand the dog back to you and go, by the way, Jay, I did it with all love and affection because the dog wants to do it. Jay would go, I don't know how you did that, because he didn't want to do it for me. He wanted to do it for himself. There you go. A sovereign being wants to do it for himself. Yes, but it wasn't to my advantage or Jay's advantage what he was wanting to do for himself. He was becoming a pain in the butt.
he asked the question?
Who did?
Jay.
No, it's not the virus. I don't think it is anyway. Nice to see him starting to point. Like you said, hopefully he'll show more natural ability in time, Chris, regarding the point. I do wonder whether he'll ever freeze on a bird. Okay, Jay, you explain to me what do you want about? He freezes on a bird. What do you want him to do? You tell me what you expect that dog to do. You do expect him to hold point and stay there, not move at all. For how long do you expect him to stay there? Until I release him? Because at the moment, I'm releasing him when he holds point. I'm not making him hold point for 10 minutes. I'm saying to him, there's more to it. Because why? Because he was sticky. He was very, very sticky. He was walking down the line at my side. He would go no more than 10 feet in front. I need the dog to open up and gain the confidence and then hold the point. And he is holding the point until I get to him. That's exactly what I want. Then I give him the command, get on. And then he goes. So he's learning through the command, get on. And if you watch the chase as he's going through the fields, I'm going, Dougie, get on, get on. I'm encouraging him to get on. So when I do say to him, get on. Now, if you want me to start using the word, whoa, and you want to walk across the moors with him, Jay, when you can find a moors big enough for him and never come across anything, that's completely up to you.
He come back and said, until that point, you release him.
Well, there you go.
Freeze on it and then...
He's not holding point for a long period of time because he wants to creep forward. And I want him to creep forward. I want him to have that enthusiasm. Once he's got that drive to the point that the same as the dummy drive, if we could get it to the point that we really want it, then I start putting the stop and the control into him. But until I've got that, I don't want to destroy it by making him point on something and not have the fun element. There's got to be a fun element somewhere for him, Jay. And the fun element's going to be the retrieve if he likes to retrieve. But guess what? I'd actually like him to catch a couple of things first. Now you could say that's cruel. Or get very close to it, right up its backside. And I want to see his little mouth opening up going, I'll have you. Then I know it's time to move on to the next stage. So please don't rush me, Jay. Don't rush me, because I could have rushed your dog. But hey, I appreciate your comments. But at the end of the day, I don't know Jay. I honestly don't know what he's capable of. And yet I'm trying to ab lib, if you want to know, if you really want to know. Coming from a professional dog trainer, yeah, because I've never trained one before. There you go. He was fast in the rabbit pen when he went in. He wasn't when he first went in, John, because guess what? He didn't have the desire to chase. He had the desire to chase in the open with something running, but to get in the cover. But now watch him in cover. He hits cover like a good old spaniel. But what is he? He's a freaking spaniel. In Spaniel.
Jay said he's an open-ended book still.
That's it. He is an open-ended book, and he's a learning curve for us all. But what could I have done? I could have turned him into a robot. I could have screwed him down. He could have been like, yes, okay, I'll do that. I'll go do that. And at the end of the day, I don't do that with dogs. And that's why I say to people, listen, you won't put pressure on me, and you won't put pressure on the dog. I'm not going to charge you any extra. If I take that dog on, I want that dog to a certain stage before you're having him back. You can have him back anytime you want. You come and pick him up tomorrow, Jay. I'll sleep really well, knowing that I've done my best. But guess what? I'm quite happy to have him here for another few weeks to see if we can get him to another level. And that's the whole point about the job I do. I do it because I love it. I do it because I loved it. What's that, Susan? You're laughing now.
Well, John said he smashed the cupboard to bits, and Jay come back, he smashed the cupboard to bits and knocked the bin over.
Yeah, he did. And he knocked you over as well. But I love the fact of his nature. And yet he bit me. The bastard bit me. He bit me because he was like, I want this. This isn't your bird. And then he realized what he'd done, but he didn't bite me hard, but he did mouth me, and I had to give him a negative. Hey, sovereign being, don't touch the bird. It's mine. I don't take orders from you, fat boy. Oh, yes, you do. It's the same as I put up a video with Rafa retrieving a cockbird and an M-bird down the lane. Simple little retrieves. But did you see the bigger picture? Did you see how he gave them up? Beautiful, and didn't mouth them in any way. And yet he was holding on to stuff really tight. And we went through a number of phases in his training, and now he gives it up beautiful with a lovely soft mouth. And that was all because of, in the field, he'd find it half a rabbit, bring it back, wanting to eat it, still in his mouth. I say, leave that dead, and he wouldn't let it go. I put my hand in his mouth, open his mouth, leave that, and take it off him. He's a divine sovereign being, isn't he? He can make up his own choices in life. But I've seen dogs eat. I've seen dogs eat birds on the way back in, right? Because they have taken over. At the end of the day, we want a dog to have a soft mouth, no noise. We want it to be biddable. We want it to be obedient at the right time, and yet have its natural ability. The skill of a gun dog trainer compared to a pet trainer, and we're talking about pet trainers here with a lot of these people. We're talking about pet trainers, different kettle of fish than a gun dog trainer. It's my job to get the best out of the dog. But then what have I got to work on? I'll point into it here. His name is Jay Brooker. That's the next thing we've got to work on for the dog's sake. That's what we've got to work on, because Jay might have all the answers in his head, but he wasn't showing them with the dog in front of me. And what we've got to do, we've got to show Jay now how to handle the dog, and the dog respect Jay as he respects me, or the dog will start to take over again and go back to his old ways. So the whole point is he's maturing up. He's been given every chance by Jay. At the end of the day, he's been given every chance by me. And it's a fine example of moving forward. Am I over the moon with him? Yes, compared to what I was, because he was so frustrating. But we gave him time. How many trainers do you know that will do what I did for nothing for 2 months, for no money? Because it's not my fault the dog's immature. It's not my fault the dog's not learning. It's not my fault the dog comes from the environment it was in. In some bite work sports, they are streamed live. Do the gun dog sports do this? I think they should do, William. I really think they should do. But in competition, guess what? It'll never happen. Why? Because it leaves it open to stop the cheating. the cheating you'd see blatantly happening in front of people, and it would put a cat amongst the pigeons. How about that? Perseverance, not rushing. Yes, it's really important. And we're going back to Mark Goldberg. We're going back to the Monks of New Skeet and Brother Christopher. My attitude is this: you want me to get the best out of your dog, don't put me under pressure, and we'll get the best out of your dog. I can't be fairer than that. I'd rather turn money away on a kennel space by saying to someone, listen, it's taking me longer, but you're not being charged any extra. Now, if I was a mercenary, I could say, I'm sorry, you've had your 10 weeks or you've had your 20 weeks, and if I can't get the dog any better, that's tough. But no, that's not me.
Jay says, I'll get him when you feel you've reached a point that you're happy within yourself.
That's it.
I don't want to take him off your hands if you've got more in the tank and feel there's still room to grow. Lovely.
And at the end of the day, I'm doing it for the dog. I'm not doing it for Jay. I'm glad Jay is enjoying what he's seeing, and I would have been disappointed if we'd not given the dog the chance. And so I thank Jay for that, because without that, I'd have to let that dog go back, and people think, well, you didn't get out that dog what you wanted to get out of the dog. I'm getting something out of the dog that I want, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because the last 2 months.
But I've been waiting for the birds, and we were a month behind because of the virus. I just couldn't believe it. And then last year, once they finished shooting, season had finished in February, I normally get on the shoots for a month, and the keeper lets me go anywhere finding birds, anywhere on the shoot, because I've done dogging him for him and I've helped him, and vice versa. He's helped me with my business, but I appreciate it. And he says, yeah, go there, do that, push them back if you like, because all we're doing then, and before he catches up, so before he starts catching up, and that's fantastic training. But guess what? The lockdown came there, and so some of the dogs here suffered from that. So those dogs that should have had that, then this season, before the season starts, that the birds are a month behind. Now the birds are out. But guess what's happened now? They've cut the maize, and the farmers ploughed it within a week. So now we've got mud field, and we've got 2 weeks of rain, haven't we? So that's going to make life really good fun, isn't it? Going out shooting season starting. But what can I do? I can't control the world, can I? I can't control the world. I just have to be thankful they let me shoot on their ground. And I can't say, hang on, leave that stubble field like that for a month and a half. They did last year. We had so much shooting, it was beautiful. But guess what happened? Chris will find something. Sue you. So I'm on the waiting list for him to stop talking.
No, he's got questions for you. He's getting a bit.
Who is?
So, Panicky.
Go on then.
Well, there's 3 of them a bit further up.
Where are they? Come on then. Come on then. Oh, yeah. So.
3 of them.
So I'm trying to pull it back. So I'm back. Oh. Hang on. It must be something before that, surely.
Yeah.
Because that sounded very rude to me. He's trying to pull it back. That sounds like a doctor's problem.
Well, the next one up, there's 3 of them.
Hang on.
3 in a row.
All right. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. So I'm trying to pull it back. That's all I read. I thought, I don't want to know what you're doing, so I thought you'd give up being a doctor. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Here we go. Found it. Having to get back on top of training. The lurcher. Lurcher. See that? Hey, someone's got a sense of humor. I've had 6 months of proper training, and it's gone a bit too rat shit. There you go. So I'm trying to pull it back. So I'm back on the pigeon launcher for a few days, and unlike on Wild Game, he creeps. Yeah. I don't mind him relocating on moving Wild Game, but he shouldn't move on a static point unless told. Any ideas? No. I have no idea. I have no idea at all. You'll have to bring him down here, and then I'll show you. Because I've watched you on a number of occasions recently, and I thought, you're letting things creep in on that dog, and it's going to manifest into bigger problems. And so I want to see the dog. And I didn't say too much, because at the end of the day, I asked a number of questions. I didn't tell you nothing. I said, are you happy with that? Is that what he's supposed to do? And you went, no. And you went over and picked him up and put him back down. You weren't firm on him. You weren't dominant with him, but you just picked him up and put him back on the stance and I think told him to whoa, and then he crept forward again. And at the end of the day, if you compromise and allow the dog to do those things, they will manifest and they will get worse. And you could say, well, hang on, why is it getting worse? Well, because you've left it. Because you've left it for 6 months. You've allowed the dog to become out of sync with what you want it to do. You've got to go back and retake control. And so that's why I said to you, when you were here last, did you use the collar? Did you use the collar? And you went, no, 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 right? So the collar's on, but you're not using it, perhaps when you should use it. Now, I'm not an expert on that, Sol. And so at the end of the day, I will sit there with you, have a drink, discuss it, go out and train things, perhaps see things that you don't see, where you can say, yeah, but the reason I do that is that, and I will listen, and I will learn as much as you're learning on the job with the pointer. But like I keep saying to everyone, yes, I'm a gun dog trainer, but there's specialist pointer trainers out there that I'd like to see work dogs. And I've watched video after video after video of dogs like doggies. I've read stuff that people have said about them. It made me laugh about they love water. They absolutely love water. They were bred to love water. Well, Dougie wasn't.
He didn't read the rule book.
He didn't read the rule book, did he? See? That's back to sovereign. He's a sovereign being. We can't force him. But we can. But we can force him. That's the whole point. We could take him out on a boat to the Eddystone Lighthouse and motor back as fast as possible like the mule and see if he comes with us. He'll either sink or swim. I think if we throw out a buoy to him, a life buoy, he'll be all right. So what I'm saying is, love the way you put those questions. I'm glad I read the top one first, because it said I'm trying to pull it back, and I was a little bit worried what you were on about for a second there. So I hope that helps. So I can't wait to see you. Can't wait to get out. Training, so training, not drinking, not eating, training. I bet it's been a learning curve for you to have had Dougie. Yes, it has, Steve, and I get paid for it as well. Isn't that wonderful? But what I'm not willing to do is F somebody's dog up with a bolshy nature that I know what I'm doing with every dog. I've watched videos of those dogs, and the stance of that dog is nothing like a pointer. The movement of the dog is nothing like a pointer. The point is nothing like a pointer. He lifts his head. He watches movement a lot. He's not racing across the field into the wind, but he works better just off wind. At the end of the day, I want the dog to show me what he's naturally good at, and then I'll tap into it. Hey, what's that about not drinking or eating? I didn't say no drinking or eating, but we're going to be doing training first. Went out with Sol, everyone, listen to this. Went out with Sol, went up on the hill. It was a foggy day up on Bodmin. And I said, come on, then get your dogs out. You went, I'm not getting my dogs out here. You couldn't see 2 foot in front of you. Come on, get your dog out there. You got an e-collar. We'll hear him. No, I'm not getting the dogs out here. Off to the frigging pub we went. He was like honestly, a kid in a playground. Off to the pub we went. And we went out training the next time he turned around. He says, back time for a drink, isn't it? Honestly, I'm going to have to keep him out. I'm going to have to build some stamina on that man. I have to build some stamina on him, because he can't keep with me in the field, everyone. He can't keep with me. He'll probably walk me off the hill. Do you know what? If I didn't have that mule and I had Dougie, I reckon I could get down to 13 stone within a month. Jay, you want to rent him out to fat people? Jay, you could be on an earner here. Take Dougie out for a run. But the one thing that Sue said, and I said, isn't it lovely how he stays with you and goes about 30 foot in front and then waits for you until you're walking up to him, then goes again and then goes again. And he's on stuff. He knows it's there. He's seen it, but he's not chasing it until I go, get on, because that's when he knows he can go. And so that's why I'm building up that point. And it's not a big, long point. It's not a perfect point, but he's definitely,
It's a Spaniel point.
it's a spaniel point, in my opinion. Did you hear what she said in the background? Española. They do things different in Española country.
Doggy's way of doing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
Who it is, guys.
I'm gonna put a bell on him next, everyone. Ding 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 ding. There's a point. Ding 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 ding. Point. Whoa means whoa, absolutely no compromise. Use the stop whistle and collar stimulus. Oh, Dave, stop it. Stop it. Don't tell Sol that. Don't tell Sol that. He wants to go and read the Monks of Newskeet. To be doing it with love and affection. And a Mother of Mary, whatever, or is it this? I don't know what it is. What you do on the Monks of Newskeet. Divine inspiration. Think the dog's going to do it right, and he'll do it right. Avoid the good behavior. Avoid the bad behavior. Ignore it, and reward the good behavior. And he'll only do good behavior. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody in this world and every animal in this world worked on that principle? Wouldn't it? Anyway, you lot. I don't know what else you want to talk about. Anybody else want to talk about anything else?
Well, William said, is he bred to be more handler reliant?
Who?
Doggy.
Is he bred to be more hand reliant? Do you know what? I think genetic breeding, they wanted a dog that an old man could own. And he could walk down through the woods. And technically, I've only ever seen this a couple of times, where I've seen a top Springer Spaniel open up from gun to gun in the open. As soon as it goes into thick cover, the dog tightens right up, not missing any ground. So in the open, it's using its head, lifts its head a little bit more, and will win something and then pull onto it. And in America, that's what they love with their spaniels compared to their spaniel hunting compared to over here. Over here, they like this little short windscreen wiper action. Dogs, they're shit scared the dog's going to get away from them. They want a 15-foot retrieve, and then they win a trial on a 15-foot retrieve. That don't impress me. That's not made me very popular in the trial world with certain people, with certain ideologies of how a spaniel should be hunting. I like a game finder. I like a dog that'll hunt, and you'll stand still if it's missed ground and bring it back, wait for it to come back, cover that ground, move forward with the dog, and then if the dog says there's something here, puts its nose down and starts to take a line, trust your dog and let it produce, and you'll have a dog that's exciting. But if you keep blowing the freaking turn whistle because the dog's on something and you're not allowing it, you're just making the dog into a robot, into a hand reliant robot. And I've been in trials before where I've been sort of third in line behind, waiting to come in line, and I've watched a guy having a run for 25 minutes with 30 birds in front of him, less than 15 foot in front of him, and the birds are just moving through the woods because they're reared birds, and they've learned that as long as they stay ahead of the beaters, they don't need to take off, because they take off, the guns will shoot them in the valleys. So what they do, they run. So the dog's hunting, looking lovely, windscreen wiper, but for 25 minutes, never put a bird up. Why? Because the birds are just moving 15, 20 feet ahead of them all the time. This is only known if you do it, if you've watched it. Then next guy comes in and does the same thing. And then I come in and the judge says, there's a lot of birds around here, but they not seem to be getting onto them. And I said, watch this. So all I did, he said, right, when you're ready, off you go. I went, get out. And the dog freaking ran out the back. And then I picked him back, brought the birds back to us, shot them over us, sent the dog. The judge said, well done, that'll do you. How did you teach the dog to do that? You're the freaking judge. You know, it's not difficult. What did Sol say on Patreon? Nice comment about Dougie or something. And he said, I never realized that you've worked your spaniels in that way before. I've worked my spaniels like that for all my life. I can push my spaniels out when I want to, because I teach them to dog in, long distance, handling, control, stopping. At the end of the day, I don't do it now as much as I used to. Why? I don't need to. I'm not in competition. Horses for courses, isn't it? If you just want little dogs around your feet, having fun, fine. But at the end of the day, that's how I used to train. So I haven't forgot how to train that way. But I'll tell you what, if you've got a backwind, where do you want your dog to be? Out there, and work it back to you. A lot of these judges wouldn't have a freaking clue if you did that. They go, hang on, your dog's taking in too much ground, mate. Call it back. You're disturbing game further out. No, you're not. You're cutting the game off and bringing it back. And the birds will actually flush back over you, make it easy for the guns, especially if you've got shit guns in the trial, and many of those guns are just paid for the day and just want to shoot, and they wouldn't have a clue how to shoot over a dog properly. Does it make me popular when I talk about it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make me popular because they go, he's not only having a go at judges, he's having a go at trialing people. He's having a go at the guns. No, I'm not. I'm saying you got to know how to read the book, seen the play. What's it? Read the book, seen the play.
Read the book.
So you can tell us now. There's 3 things, isn't there? Come on, everyone. Read the book. Got the t-shirt. Got the t-shirt. Read the book. Seen the play. Seen the film. I don't know. Fucking give. Oh, sorry for swearing. Someone told me off the other day for swearing. They said, Chris, you'd be a lovely person if you didn't swear. Fuck off. Stop it, Susan. Just in the kennel club with Harley.
In the kennel.
Oh, freaking hell. We're talking about kennel club, see? My dyslexic brain, see? Just in the kennel with Harley. Turned the live feed on when we heard your voice. His ears pricked up and came and sat at my side. Don't freaking blame him. He's got a freaking life of luxury, you. Life of bloody luxury. Hello, Harley. Everyone say, hello, Harley, put the kettle on. Harley, put the kettle on. Hello, Peter. How are you doing, boy? So, Sean Raymond, see you at the weekend. Freaking no, Sean. Are you coming again? Are you? No, we look forward to it, Sean. Really, to be honest with you. Honestly, you make my weekend. Yeah, look forward to seeing you. So anybody else on here? Anybody? John, I like the bits I got off you, Chris. All day long. Minimal turn whistle flows lovely. There you go, John. Even at that age, and it's the same with Wiz. He's missing a bit of Cornish rough. Who's that? Who is Harley? A bit of rough.
No. He's missing his bit of Cornish rough. Oh yeah, Harley must be missing.
Harley's missing. Do you know what, everyone? I've not drunk too much tonight, have I? I've only had half a glass of wine. I've only had half a glass of wine.
Yeah, because you got half a glass of gin there.
So that's not gin, Susan.
Gin and tonic.
Oh yeah, got gin and tonic. Don't tell them that, Susan. Don't tell them about the gin and tonic. Honestly, so down here at the weekend. So everyone, I hope you've enjoyed my rant. Well, my little bit of insight into why I do what I do and why I enjoy my job. And isn't it funny, isn't it, really, when you think about it? Some people go to work and they hate their job, and they get up and they go to work every day, and before they know it, it's time to retire. I don't want to retire. I love chasing dogs all around the country and helping people. And if it wasn't for my customers and my sense of humor, I don't think I could do it. Because there comes times where if you didn't have a sense of humor, you pull your freaking hair out sometimes with some of these customers. But do you know what? That's part and parcel of doing the job I do. I have got a sense of humor. I can lighten things with humor. Sometimes some people don't understand my humor. They're like, oh, he's just taking a piss out of me. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm laughing with you, not at you. And I think that's the way that I've got so many followers who come back for lessons. They know it's not personal. It's not nasty. Comes the odd time when you have to put your foot down, say it the way it is. But at the end of the day, everyone, without your support and without your money, simple as that. Chad Mackin says on that live app, and let me just tell you about that. It's worth listening to, I'll tell you. And it's very interesting. And I'm not rubbishing them in a nasty way. I'm saying I wish they were more upfront with some of the things they say. It's Chad Mackin's it's called Something to Bark About. Hang on. Something to Bark About. It's on podcast, Apple Podcast. And I've listened to Chad for years and years and years. And you know what? Some of the stuff he's done, I agree 100% with. And some of the stuff he's done, I've learned from. But he changes his mind like the wind. And that's what confuses me. And some of the people they support, I mean, for instance, they had Gary Wilkes on there years and years ago. Now, Gary Wilkes, I listened to that podcast. and I looked into Gary Wilkes. I'd actually listened to Gary Wilkes a long time before that, but I was over the moon when Chad brought Gary Wilkes into the podcast, and I listened to it and I thought, isn't it wonderful that that guy's got the knowledge and the understanding that he's got, and yet the shit that he's getting at the moment because of the bonk towel and him talking about using punishment and correction as well as positive and clicker training and treats. It just shows, doesn't it, that the dog training world, it's like that Dale McCluskey. I'm going to get a video now. I'm going to get a video, but I'm going to say it. That Dale McCluskey, and the problem is, you mention his name, guess what? People go over there and look at his site. That's what he wants it for. But guess what? He's got about 3 views and 4 views on every video. I think he's stuck up about 20 videos slagging off every freaking trainer that I have actually followed on the internet over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And he just puts up a video of their picture of their face. He doesn't critique the video because he couldn't critique a video to save his life. But what he does, he waffles psychobabble for the next 30 minutes about nothing with a picture of them up there. And it's cheesing people off. Listen, wear it as a badge of honor. If Dale picks you out of the 3 million freaking trainers on the internet giving it bollocks, guess what? He likes you. He freaking likes you. I'm just so disappointed he's not attacked me for the last 12 months. Since I freaking said I'm going to come round to his church and freaking expose him for what he is. Hallelujah! Because he's very deeply religious. Now, if he's very deeply religious and he's a decent being, why is he trying to affect people's trainers and people's business by critiquing their videos the way he does? But he's not doing anyone any damage. It's like that uncle you meet at a party who tells everybody what they're doing wrong, but has never done anything right in his life. You just don't take no freaking notice of him. He ain't got a freaking clue. Just let him waffle. And that's the problem with these people, and especially police officers who retire from the police force early and then become dog trainers. And I'm not being rude. I know a few dog trainers who are police officers that I fully recommend and I promote, right? For different reasons, in different dog training scenarios. But there is some police officers that think, hang on, I'm retiring at 50. I've got £185,000 freaking payoff. I've got my pension. I need to freaking keep a job going. I know what I'll do. I'll become a police officer dog trainer. Because with my credentials, being a police officer, people will believe me. Whatever I tell them, they'll believe me. And then I watch them and I think, you haven't got a freaking clue. You haven't got a freaking clue. And that's exactly the same as years and years and years ago. I was at a trial and the guy won the trial and Openshaw shouts across the freaking whole yard. This is first win, this guy's first win. And he shouts across the yard where everyone was. He said, that'll be another professional dog trainer next week. He was dead right. Within a week, the guy was advertising himself as a professional dog trainer because he'd won a trial. One swallow does not make a summer. Trust me. One swallow does not make a summer. John turned 8th of August. I think she did, Chris. She still wants to please. She does. There you go. Turned 8 in August. There you go. 8 years ago. You should still have a good few years with her, John, and really enjoy her. Trust me. She'll teach you so much. She will teach you so much. Do you know, it reaches a stage with certain dogs that man and dog work as one. When you get that feeling with your dog, and I tell you what, is it David Jones? Is it David Jones, the Welsh boy?
Yeah.
David Jones?
Yeah.
He can tell you about that. He can tell you about that. When you get that bond between you and your dog, and you can sort of read each other without actually giving each other commands. Well, dog don't give you many commands, but you see what I mean, what I'm trying to say. Then you know you've reached that working as a team. And yet you'll never be as one, but the closest thing to that is perfection. Man and dog, woman and dog working as one. And that's what that Wilson Stevens, he's dead now, God bless him. That's what he said to me when I won the I think it was the Meon Valley, not Meon Valley. No, it wasn't the Meon Valley. Engagement. Yeah, that's it. Engagement between the dogs. William George. Yeah, you're right. That's what he said to me when I won the Kimpbury Interclub test with the Spaniel beating everybody. And he judged me. And he wrote Gun Dog Sense and Sensibility. And I always love telling this story because it meant so much to me. He said in the speech, I've never seen, in all the years I've watched dogs and dog trainers working dogs, I've never seen a man and dog work as one. That meant so much to me, coming from somebody who wrote Gun Dog Sense and Sensibility. And I'll always remember that. That's the sort of things you remember, especially with the life I've gone through, being dyslexic, being bullied, being picked on because I'm fat as well. Honestly, I could tell you a story or two. I could break down. I could need psychiatric help. Some of you still believe I freaking do. Anyway, on that note, engagement. I was trying to win hearts and minds then. I've got over all that shit. I don't.
Well, we're still together because we work as a team.
Look at that. Look, I look like a real lazy eye. It just froze on the screen. I look like that freaking comedian, that Indian comedian who's got one freaking eye that flickers. So there you go, everyone. That's Chris Upton. Gave you an hour and 12 minutes today of my life for nothing, for absolutely freaking nothing. And we've given away a cup if he sends his address. That is spot on. Very few. I don't know if I'm freezing all the time or whether it will play back okay. Peter Piper, bollocks to you. Kieran, bollocks to you. Thanks for tuning in. And like I say, some days I come on here and I think, what the hell am I going to talk about? So we're going to finish on a real good note. We're going to really finish on a good note. And I thought, well, seeing you're all here and it's now gone past. Switch off now. You better have gone. Good night from Chris Upton and Sue. You can guess what we're doing now.